Hi, I'm Kuber. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to today's live Q&A. I hope you guys are all doing pretty well. Thank you for logging in. And let's see. There've been so many queries going back and forth over the last few days. So we said, okay, let's do another of these live sessions so that we can get your queries, firsthand and get to them. So I have my system set up over here. I have my camera set up over here. So please forgive me if I keep jumping from here to here and back and forth, because I need to first take the questions that were posted on the post first. And then we'll get back to addressing the questions that you will have while you're posting them live now, right? So let's get started. First one, that was by Anirudh. He said something about TEF, and somebody said it's a date, so we do not know what that was. Second one was from Sharon Queensley. She says, I'm about to go for medicals with my family. The issue is that my child is being treated for adenoid enlargement by the ENT doctors. They hope to perform the surgery on my child very soon, but the date is still tentative. Should we go for medicals first, then surgery thereafter, or should we wait till the surgery is done before going for our medicals? Firstly, Sharon, I'm not a health practitioner, so I wouldn't be able to sort of tell you exactly how this would pan out. However, if you are going to go for surgery, then you would rather wait. Or, I mean, if this is nothing serious, then you can obviously go for the medicals as well. Either which ways, it shouldn't be an issue because you already have a surgery slated. But ideally, I mean, if you can, if you have the time, if your scores are pretty good, and if it's not going to be something that will hold your application back, then just wait it out. Wait till till the surgery is done and your child is feeling all right, and then you can go for the medicals. It should then go through smoothly. Otherwise, you never know. I mean, doctors sometimes act pretty strange, and they might sort of put this on review, put this on hold, make some notes, and this could then go for review. So yes, ideally just wait till the surgery is sorted out. Wait till your child feels better and is all hale and hearty, and then you can get the medicals done. Yeah. Right. The next one, Anita. I've had Australian PR in 2017. Okay, great. Okay. In the form of address history, I had mentioned my stay at address ABC and then XYZ. But for Canada, while filling my application, I have mentioned my stay from September to August. I have read from GCMS notes of several applicants that IRCC shares information with other countries. Will IRCC in any way so deeply be concerned with what information I have given in my application? And if they do, then will this difference of 1 month cause any problem? Okay, Anita, good question, but you shouldn't be worried about this. You see, there is an open data sharing between few countries, and that is, let's see, USA, UK, obviously Canada, New Zealand, Australia. These are the big five, and they have open data information sharing agreement between them. It is understood that France and Germany will also be joining this group, and this way they basically can share data among themselves on background checks, security checks, etc., and a lot of immigration data as well. But these minute details that you have mentioned in your application about the period of address, you shouldn't have to worry about it. Don't worry about this. Yes, they do share data, but this is not something that you should be worried about. All right. Next one is from Aditya. He says, what is the best way to transfer money into a Canadian bank? Okay, that's a great question. Once we land from India, should we take the money if not cash? I want to transfer the whole amount into the bank account. I will open the account after I land. I want the least conversion charges. Okay, the post I shared earlier was confusing. Okay, Aditya. It's another very frequently asked question. How do I carry my money? How do I transfer money? The best way is obviously to transfer the money electronically, transfer wire transfer, or whatever you want to call it. Yes, there are going to be charges, yes, right? Because the banks are there to make money, obviously. The best thing would be for you to sort of get to Canada, open an account, speak to the relationship manager, let them know what kind of an amount you're looking to bring into Canada, negotiate and agree to a preferred rate. Shop around, go to different banks and see which one is willing to offer you a bit more leeway, additional facility, better fee, better rate, better charges, and then accordingly transfer the money. From what I have been reading, and if it is to have any kind of truth, then loonie, which is our favorite Canadian currency, a Canadian dollar, is looking to sort of take a nosedive in a bit of time. So if you just keep your eye on the foreign currency market, then in some time to come, you will realize that it will be a good time to transfer the money, and you might save some extra dollars there. So yeah, I mean, the best thing would still be to sort of transfer your money through wire transfer, bank transfer. That's always the safe way. That's always the right way. That's always the convenient way, I would say. Yeah, that's how it would make a better sense. But yes, shop around, speak to the bank, speak to the relationship manager, speak to them, and see if they can give you a better rate. All right, the next one from Shah Sanket. Okay, wow, he has also posted a page from his GCMS note. I'm sorry, Shah, I will not be able to review your GCMS notes right now, or any other time for that matter, but let's go through your question and see if we can understand without going through the GCMS notes. My notes shows that my eligibility is met, okay, but there is a clause of review required for employment letter of my first employee. I have been employed by two different employers till date. The first service period being of 1 year and the latter being for 5 years. Okay. My second employment details have all been verified according to the notes, and it accounts for 3+ years of verified foreign experience. So even if I do not consider my first employment experience, it doesn't affect my CRS. So should I proactively take any steps? Well, if your CRS is taken care of, if your eligibility points are taken care of, then I don't think you have to worry about. Well, if it is a review required, then you'll have to give them time. They will sort of, go through the processes. They will go through the steps that needs to be done. But if you have already got that figured out as to what has to be done, then just take it easy. Let it go through. Let the whole process happen, and hopefully you should get your PPR very soon. Yeah. Okay, the next one is from Manpreet. Post ITA address related query. Okay, if a person has a permanent address in X city, but he worked in many other cities, and during that time he was only living in PGs, thus he does not have any address proof, then what would be his address? Okay, first of all, Canadian PR application, Expressentry or federal otherwise, does not ask you for address proof. Okay, but they do want you to list down your residential addresses over the period of last 10 years. So regardless of how many cities you have moved, how many residences you have moved, if you have established residence, okay, that's very important. If you have established residence, then please list it down. You are not expected to provide any address proof as such. So yeah, that thing should help you, get over your concern. Next one is Jigar Parik. Can self-employed professional experience in case of chartered accountant, is it considered as work experience? Yes, Jigar, it can be considered as valid work experience. On the same YouTube channel, there is another video that we had earlier posted about how you can claim points for your work experience as self-employed. Do give it a look and maybe it'll answer your question. Right, Ali Ahmed. Once in Saudi Arabia, I went out of my home at 4 a.m. in the morning to eat something, okay? A police vehicle stopped me, took me to the police station, kept me for some time, and then after checking everyone's identification documents, gave me a warning to not roam around at 3 a.m. Well, okay, and then they let me go, and it did not register. I mean, they did not register any police case or criminal record. And I want to be truthful in my application. Should I declare the above mentioned in the statutory declaration? Well, Ali, this does not count for jail time. Jail time is when you've been convicted of a crime and you have been given as a punishment a period of a jail time. Then that would be something that you need to list down. If you were put in the jail awaiting your conviction awaiting the judgment, then that also will need to be mentioned. In this case, you do not have to worry. If you have a clear police clearance certificate from Saudi Arabia, then you are absolutely fine. Don't worry about it. Okay. Muhammad says, I had an Expressentry profile that became ineligible due to expiry of my IELTS score. I had not received an ITA. Then I took the exam, create another profile. Should I mention the old profile under the question? Has the applicant previously applied? Okay. Applying to IRCC means when you have actually submitted all your documents and the entire application to CIC and made the payment. Now that would be applying to CIC. Now that could be for a visit visa, for a business visa, for a work permit, for study permit, for PR application. Then this would constitute as you having applied to IRCC. Creating an Expressentry profile is just an expression of interest, and that does not constitute as having applied. So you can safely say no to that question. All right. Okay. Bala Venkatesh. Oh wow, you have got me some statistics. All right. Let's see the statistics. They say, as per this official update from Ontario, total number of notifications of interest issued in 2018 is 6,978. Okay. Out of which 6,850 are successful nominations. Yes. So does that mean only 128 notifications of interests were ignored or rejected? As I can see, last year also lots of Ontario draw has the same or even higher CRS range than the federal draw. How could that be possible? Great question. Statistics. I love statistics, Okay. When you are looking at all these figures, Bala, what you also need to understand or keep in mind that these allocations are for the year. Okay. However, if you remember, or if you were to sort of go back to the updates or news or areas where Ontario made their announcements, you will realize that in 2017, because you are quoting me figures of 2018, so I'll take you a bit earlier. 2017, towards the end of the year, they had accepted a lot of applications. You see, at that point of time, the notifications of interest were valid for 6 months. Okay, so in the month of, I think, in the month of November, they came out and said, okay, everybody who has an expired notification of interest that we had issued earlier and still wants to apply, please come and apply. Now, at that point of time, their quota for 2017 was already over. They finished with their quota, but they continued to receive the applications. And then they announced that when they will issue the nominations, they will issue these nominations against the quota from 2018. So are you getting the gist of where the figures are coming from? So a lot of the people who were given the nomination, may not be from that particular year, but from the previous years. So a lot of the people who got their notifications of interest in 2018 would actually as the process would complete, would actually get their nomination issued in 2019. So they will come under that particular quota. So this is how it works. But do not sort of put too much of stress on these things. As trust me, a lot of people who received their NOIs under the human capital priorities actually did ignore them, did refuse them, did reject them, because they did actually get a direct ITA. So don't worry about this. But yeah, I hope what I've explained sort of makes sense to you and gives you an idea of what's happening with these quotas. Mayur Shah. Okay, looks like something is still on. Hi, are we on? Can you hear me? Give me a thumbs up, guys. Okay. All right, so should we continue? Yes, thank you, Shreya. Appreciate it, buddy. Okay, which one were we at? Okay, Murusha. I had worked for one company 4 years ago. Management of a company had changed completely. One of the old director, who is also the director of the company, has provided the reference letter. I've mentioned his contact details. Now, except him and few other personnel, nobody knows me because the work relates to 4 years back. If the CIC contacts other people in the company other than the director. Okay, you see, it's a very common thing. In a lot of companies, people who have signed your reference letters, they move. Other people in the company, they move. CIC is perfectly aware of this. If at all they do not get the kind of answers they were looking for in the first try, they do try again. If they still do not get a correct answer, or if they do not get the kind of answers they were looking for, they will reach out to you and either send you an ADR, either send you a PFL. But trust me, they just do not outright go and refuse your application unless there is a solid evidence, which is against your documents that you've provided. So do not worry about this. In a normal period in the normal process of assessment of application, in the normal process of assessment of your work experience, they do sort of, very completely, they do sort of check in lots of ways. So if the receptionist is not aware, then they will obviously go back to your HR. If the HR is not aware, they will go back to the director or the person who has signed. So do let they are rather aware of these kind of things, and something like this is pretty common. People move, managers move, officers move, staff move, and these things are quite common. If at all they're not able to get through to your person who has signed or anybody else, then they would reach out back to you and ask you to provide something more credible. But nothing to worry about as such. Manpreet says, post ITA, do we need to declare father, mother, brother, sister? Yes, you do. It's very clearly mentioned in your family information section that you need to mention your family, extended family, which is your siblings and your parents. Okay, Reena says, I would like to know if R10 completeness check happens before MEP and bio request. Can one assume that R10 is done if his or her MEP and bio is done? Okay, great question. Okay, what is R10? R10 basically is Section 10, okay, of the Immigration Refugee Protection Regulations. IRPR, R stands for regulation, and hence Section 10, and therefore it comes to this particular reference. So R10 stands for that the regulation states that you are expected to provide a complete set of application, and the onus of providing a complete set of application is on the applicant, on you. So the documents have to be complete, the forms have to be completed, and all the required documents that you are supposed to or you're expected to submit, you have submitted. Once they have checked all these details, you are then considered as having completed or passed your R10 check. Yes, if you have passed your medicals. Now medicals are assessed by Health Canada. Okay, so if you have passed your medicals and if you received your biometrics request, you can in a fair manner sort of assume that your R10 checks out. Usually it happens within the first 60 days period, as of right now, the current average trend says that this is happening between the 40 to 50 days period. So that is the period of time you will see your medical pass status being updated in your application. This is post your AOR. So I hope that clarifies. Gaurang says, after the December 31st, most of the applicants have their background check first. Is it? Please tell us why they have changed the pattern and what all comes under background check. I have no idea where you got that information from, Gaurang, but I do not think background check would happen first. It makes no sense. I mean, what's the point of doing a background check on you when, other things in your applications haven't been assessed and haven't been completed? Okay, hold on. I know what you're talking about. If you're talking about, what happened on 31st of December? The requirement of biometrics became global. Basically, earlier certain nationalities were expected to submit their biometrics. By 31st of December, all nationalities are expected to submit their biometrics. So that is what changed on 31st of December. Now, what that basically means is that after your R10, as I earlier answered, when the request for biometrics come, it also triggers your background check status on your application. And that's what you're talking about, the background check has started. But once the biometrics are completed, you will realize in most cases that thing goes back to we will do your background check, and when we start we will let you know, that sort of a thing. So please do not confuse yourself with these things and don't worry about it. At the end of the day, the process to take the time that it needs to take, and whether they do it earlier, after, before, as long as the application gets processed, that's what matters. But I hope this clarifies. This status change that you're looking at, and this is what is confusing you about before 31st December and after 31st December, that is linked to the biometric request which gets triggered. Right, Anil Baweja says, will the CRS score drop down in future? And any idea when the Nova Scotia category B will open? Wow. Okay. Will the CRS score drop down in future? Yes. How many points? I don't know. Any idea when Nova Scotia will open? I don't know. And I don't think anybody out there knows except the people who are controlling the Nova Scotia stream. Actually, 20th of March, Nova Scotia has again issued notifications of interest to French-speaking profiles in the Expressentry pool. And on 24th of January earlier, Nova Scotia also issued notifications of interest to NOC code 1111, and those were, I think, about 200 to 300 notifications of interest issued. So looks like Nova Scotia is also now choosing and picking NOC's profiles from the Expressentry pool who they feel would be more suited to their province. I'm absolutely sure category B, if the stream continues to be the way it is, will open at some point of time. Earlier, going by the previous past year trend, April was the favored month, and April is fast approaching. So you never know, they might again choose to sort of, give it one start in the month of April. It may or may not happen, can't say. Fingers crossed, I hope they open soon, and I know a lot of you are out there waiting. So yes, keep your applications ready. It might happen at any point of time. Next one is Ranbir. He says, I've seen your video on taking your application under your own control. Excellent. My AOR is on 25th of November. I have passed medicals. My agent is not giving me my login ID and password and does not tell me that updates on a regular basis. I have to ask a lot of times to show the profile as 10 weeks remain in completion. Should I take my control? Okay, good question. How your consultant is behaving with you is not something I'm going to comment on. I wish I could say something on that. I'm just trying to sort of hold these words back. But anyways, whether you need to take control of your application or not is absolutely your choice. It's your application. It's absolutely your profile. If you need to, go ahead and do it. If you still think you want to let it be with the consultant, it's absolutely your call. But you need to be a bit more assertive with your consultant. At the end of the day, you did pay him money, and at the end of the day, also it's your application, it's your future at line, so, or rather online, and you must sort of have more control on what's happening with your application. Whether they share the access ID or password or not, that is immaterial, as long as you get the information you're looking for. So it's absolutely your call, Ranbir. I mean, if you do take over the control of your application, then obviously whatever happens with it will then, I'm sure your consultant is going to raise his hands and say, I'm not going to be doing anything for you anymore. You might actually not need him anymore. But absolutely your call, Ranbir. I wish I could give you something more to sort of go with, but it's your choice how you would want to do it from here on. Tina, post AOR, my husband has been to Canada as a visitor for 2 weeks in 2017. Post AOR in 2017? This is not making sense. Okay. His visa was applied by his company, so we don't have details. We have mentioned his visit in travel history. However, there was a question, have you applied to IRCC before? And I answered no. Would like to know if this was to be mentioned. Yes. If yes, what can I do now? Tina, yes, it had to be mentioned. Yes, because applying for a visit visa is also having applied to IRCC. All these things, when you ask me after you've submitted your application, what should I do? It's very difficult to sort of say, what can you do? What should you do? Yes, the paracetamol or use a web form, raise a web form, and inform CIC. But these kind of mistakes should be avoided, because sometimes these things can really backfire really badly, and you wouldn't want that to happen, because it's a very innocent mistake. But you need to be a bit more careful with your application when you're making, when you're entering all these details. But yes, for the time being, yes, please use the web form. Let CIC know that. I mean, the fact that you already mentioned in the travel history is good enough. So that should sort of take care. But if you want to sort of add this detail as well, then by all means use web form and let them know. Zubair says, I'm working in a company. My employer redefined job title within the company. No official notification of promotion. Does it mean that I have to get employment reference letter for two designations or only the current redefined one? The current redefined one is fine, Zubair. That's not a problem at all. I hope the NOC code remains the same and the job roles and responsibilities remain the same. That should not be an issue at all. You can always make a small note in your letter of explanation to let CIC know what the change was. Chetan Singh says, since you are running a consultancy, can you please share some inside knowledge? Inside knowledge from my consultancy? Okay, all right. Well, what do you want? Based on your experience with your clients, such as which NOCs are being given nominations, for which provinces, what trends, NOCs do you think will be in hot demand in which province? I ask because very little is known about such cases in provinces. Don't share this kind of data. I'm particularly interested in finding out data for Alberta, Ontario, Nova Scotia, and PEI. That's a very funny one, Chetan. Okay, first of all, a lot of details from my consultancy is confidential. So obviously, I cannot share data from my clients to, with anybody as such. But I'm not sure if you have noticed, I do share a lot of information regardless of where that information has come from. So if I have learned something, if I have found out something, if I have discovered something, or if I feel that there is something which needs to be sent out, you will see me writing out a very, very quick post on that. I think actually I did write out something on Alberta nominations very recently, I think about a couple of days back, and I did mention the NOC codes that that Alberta has been sending out notifications of interest to, and a lot of them are actually my clients, and they have come to me, approached me to complete their application forms through our licensed consultants, and we are in the process of doing that. But while we do that, obviously we have their acknowledgement and understanding, and we do let out, or we do share the commonly understood or known details, and especially with the NOC codes. And I think 1311, 1221, 8235, 1241. That's what I remember on top of my head. But these were the NOC codes that got notifications of interest from Alberta. No, Russia do not suddenly send out, hot NOCs. They do have an NOC in demand list. Please check their website. Ontario is another one. You never get to know much about it until you come across people who have received notifications of interest, and whenever we do come to know of that, actually I do share that information. You must keep an eye on the posts that I make on my group, and I think you will get to know more about these as and when they happen. And you're asking me about my thoughts on the CRS score. I did link you with my latest blog on why the CRS scores remain high for this month of March, or rather for 2019. Give it a read. Okay. Amina, how are you, Amina? She says, I got to know from a call to CIC that I have passed all stages. My file is cleared. Voila, Mabruk. But the agent told me that it will first be transferred to the visa office and then the PPR will be triggered. I know it takes 1 to 3 weeks from approval to PPR, but how much time does it take for a file to be transferred to the visa office? How do you know it takes 1 to 3 weeks to be issued or to be sent to from approval to PPR? How did you get that information? Okay, very strange. And then you say on the website, I do not know which website, the LVO is for Pakistan is mentioned is Abu Dhabi. Are all PPRs from Pakistan triggered from Abu Dhabi? Again, honestly, I'm not sure where you're getting all this information from. First of all, you see, LVOs, or other local visa office, as you're referring to, for Pakistan, could be in Islamabad, could be in Abu Dhabi, could be in London, could be in Ottawa. So, I'm not sure where you are getting, which website you are getting your local visa office from. Secondly, PPRs are issued in batches based on the local visa office where they are processed in the final stages. So, and there is no such timeline which says it takes only 1 to 3 weeks from approval to PPR. Well, certainly hope you get yours within 1 to 3 weeks, but there is no specific timeline anywhere which says that it will be processed between 1 to 3 weeks. But if you already know that your file has been approved, that's great news. I mean, that obviously already sort of put all your sort of anxiety levels to rest. But I would just say just take it easy. It will come soon because as you know, it's already been approved, so it should just be around the corner. Whether it comes from Abu Dhabi, whether it comes from London, it doesn't matter. And should I expect PPR during Abu Dhabi time zone? Well, it doesn't matter what time zone. I mean, Abu Dhabi time zone is how many hours behind Pakistan? I mean, an hour and a half, kind of a thing. How would it matter? I mean, when you'll get it, you will get it, right? I mean, which time zone and regardless of what time zone it is in Abu Dhabi, I mean, you will still get it in your real time wherever you are, right? So yeah, just relax. Cable says. Thank you for solving all our queries. You're welcome. I have few questions in mind. Few questions. Voila, that's a lot of questions. Okay. My current organization, where I've been working since 5 years, have given me service reference letters stating my joining date and roles and responsibilities I'm carrying out, but did not mention remuneration and number of working hours. Instead, they have given me stamped and signed copies of my last 6 months' salary slips. My question is, will it suffice to secure full work experience points? Okay. My bank has given me. Okay. Your reference letter should either mention working hours or should mention you as a full-time employee. It's important because that is how they establish your employment period, whether it's valid for that period of time that you are claiming points for. So please figure out how you can prove whether through number of working hours per week, or the letter should specifically mention that you're a full-time employee. Very important. And if it does not mention salary, you can provide salary slips, you can provide pay stubs, you can show credits to your bank account, and that should prove that you are being paid a salary. You can also add your offer letter or an employment letter or a service certificate or a salary certificate that you can also additionally get from your company. That will also help you establish that you are being paid for your employment. Next one is, my bank has given letter stating my account balance with sufficient Canadian dollar equivalency. I am expecting another sum of amount to be deposited. Till that time, will it be okay if I use amount in this account for visa fee purposes? I'm sorry, I don't understand your question exactly what you're trying to state. But ideally, you should just let the money in your account be. Please do not mess around with it. If it is just sufficient to cover your proof of funds, let that be. Don't touch it. Third one is, when and how the gift deeds to be submitted. Do we need hard copies? No, you don't need hard copies, just the soft copies. You can attach them to your proof of funds, and you can also attach them to your letter of explanation and explain in your letter of explanation what these gift deeds are about and how they have contributed to your proof of funds. Okay. Kushi says, I got PPR last week. Okay, congratulations, Kushi. And now I have renewed my passport as it was expiring. Should I raise a web form before submitting? No, you don't need to raise a web form. Just submit your new passport and your old passport along with your PPR letter and you should be fine. Sandeep says, I need your advice on EE profile creation with regards to change in marital status. Right now my CRS score is 462. I'm about to get married in June. So my question is, shall I create the profile as single and later add my wife, or create it after getting married in June? My CRS will come down to 435. Oh dear. 443 with her ECA. It doesn't really matter. I mean, you can definitely create your profile right now immediately, because then your aging of your profile will start, so your profile will get older as in how the time progresses. Once you get married, you can then obviously update your status, but hold on. You will get married in June. We are in the month of March. If your CRS score now is 462, then I think you should get your documents very quickly in order. Because 462, you should get an ITA in the next draw. If you get your ITA in the next draw, get all your documents in order and submit as a single. You will get your AOR. After that, you will get married. And then you can add your spouse in your application without any headache. The day you get married, which is after your AOR, let CIC know that you are now married. Add your, they will send you an application kit with some forms and will require you to submit your wife's obviously your marriage certificate, your IMM 0008, which is the general immigration form, some background check form, additional family information form, personal activity forms, and they will also require you to send your wife's medicals and police clearance. And you will not have to wait and do all these other things that you're talking about, getting her ECA, getting her IELTS, nothing. You have 462, please create your profile, get your ITA, get your documents, submit quickly, get your AOR, get married, call me for your wedding, okay? And then we can celebrate it all together. All right. Next one, Zoya. My spouse's indefinite leave to remain in UK was refused due to misrepresentation. Okay. Will it affect my chances for Canadian immigration? I'm the primary applicant, but my score is better. Will IRCC need a detailed LOE for refused later, or a short paragraph will be sufficient? Zoya, well, it will not affect your application to Canada because your misrepresentation was with. You will have to mention about your spouse's refusal to remain in UK because they will find out about it anyways. A short paragraph with details is good enough, and that should sort of help, give an understanding of what happened there. But don't worry about it, you'll be fine. Kalbi Jaffrey says, if somebody is having 12 years of work experience but claim points only for 3 years in EE profile, if he wants to create a profile on PE website in Expressentry stream, can he show work experience more than 6 years to claim more points? Okay, I think you're confusing with two things. 6 years points is for eligibility. Prince Edward Islands also asks you for the same 6 years that you're calculating for eligibility. Expressentry is talking only about CRS, but it also talks about your eligibility points. So the best thing would be, if you're looking to file your profile with PEI, then maintain consistency, update your Expressentry profile also with the additional work experience, and so you can maintain consistency with your Prince Edward expression of interest, and of course you can file your expression of interest and claim points for 6 years of work experience. Deep says, I'm about to complete 10 months from AOR, but still no updates. Okay, 10 months? Okay, after 5 months, I ordered GCMS note where I found out that my proof of funds was under review. My mutual funds were not considered. Obviously, we have been saying that so many times that please do not provide mutual funds as proof of funds. I have liquidated the same on 21st December, updated off, still no update. Deep, there is nothing you can do to sort of push things forward in such cases. Okay, when your application is in review required, what does it basically mean? Let me just give you a gist of how it works. In the government offices in India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, all the Asian countries, how there are queues and queues on different windows of the offices. So for example, you go to the first window with your application, and the person behind the window says, oh well, something needs to be done here, please go to the next window. So you take your application, go to the next window again, you got to stand in the queue. When you come to the window again, that person refuses, say, okay, no, you're missing one document, please go back to the first window. Now you're back into the first window, again you're in the queue. Again you gotta wait till you get to the window, and this person says, okay, now this is fine. I'm going to write you a note, go to the in charge supervisor, manager, and get his signature. Again you come back out of the queue, and then you wait for the manager, stand outside his office or her office, wait for that person to come out and sign your application. That person signs it, again you get back into the queue. So this queues is what causes a lot of time. The actual time spent in the application is hardly few minutes, but it's the amount of time that you spend waiting in a queue is what causes the delays. So this is something similar, only these queues are maybe electronic, maybe physical, but this is where a lot of time is being spent. Okay, therefore we always stress that you must provide complete set of documents, credible set of documents, proper documents, so that your application does not spend excuse me, so that your application does not spend considerable amount of time in these queues of review required, application parked. It wastes a lot of time. we've always very categorically stated mutual funds are not recommended for proof of funds. Do not use them. Yes, there are a few people who have managed to get through with them, but in most cases, mutual funds is always a question mark. So it's a good thing that you have already provided CIC with your updated proof of funds, but that's the best you can do right now. Just wait it out. Let the queue sort of reduce and let your application come up on the top of the queue. They will see what you have provided. Once they're happy with it, they will process it. Apart from that, just sit back, relax. Maybe this is meant to be. This delay basically means you are needed more in your home country for some more time to maybe do something important. And until that time, just relax, sit back, enjoy, and wait for this to happen. But yes, I mean, there's nothing much you can do. You can obviously call CIC, you can raise a CIC, CSE web form inquiry and ask about your status for application, but that's just about it. Nitin, any tips on filing Nova Scotia Category B when they open? The tips, there are plenty of tips out there. If you were to basically go to any of the websites, it will give you. Be ready with all your documents. Be ready to sort of keep your trigger fingers all pretty flexible and ready to sort of keep trying to log in when the system opens. There are no hidden tips. I mean, the way we in our office file the application is totally different. My office is like a war room, we will have 3 to 4 people trying to file the same application, and yet we are not always successful with filing all the applications that we get from our clients. But we basically, I wish, I could sort of give you a glimpse of how our office looks. It's a total chaos. But again, we get a separate leased line, internet leased line. We use very strong VPN. We use extremely fast internet. We have too many people trying to handle the same application so that we have higher success rate. I do not know how many of these you can use, but it's getting on with Nova Scotia is a lot of luck by chance kind of a thing. There are a lot of people out there on our groups itself who have been lucky. They have been very persistent. They have been very, very patient with the whole Nova Scotia aspect, and they have been lucky. So all I can say is just be ready. Have all the documents ready. Go through their application guide. Go through their checklist. Keep all documents ready. And once they open, be ready to sort of jump in and copy paste everything onto their application. Good luck to you. Right. Then we have. Next question was from Siddharth. Okay. Please explain about eligibility review required and how much time it will take to be reviewed by the officer after submitting documents via web form. Okay, I've just explained a bit earlier what is review required and how does it sort of move from one window to another. Every time any aspect of your application which does not satisfy any particular immigration law or immigration requirement or immigration assessment criteria, then your application will be under review required. Okay, if it's a straightforward one, it's fine. If it's not, then somebody else needs to second it, somebody else needs to check it, somebody else needs to authorize it, and hence it's review required. Eligibility is basically you as an applicant being eligible for the Expressentry program, or not, sorry, not Express, my bad. Expressentry is not a program, Expressentry is just an electronic system. For any of the programs under the Expressentry system. So for example, in most cases, it would be either a federal skilled worker program or Canadian experience class. So the first thing is they want to check is, are you eligible under the federal skilled worker program, which basically means your age, your education, your English language skills, your work experience, your any adaptability points that you have claimed for. If there is any question mark in any of these areas, that will put a review required for your eligibility. Now, which basically means if you are not even eligible, then everything else is not going to go any further. And therefore, it comes under review required for eligibility. In a lot of cases, the review required for eligibility comes under work experience. For example, you have given documents for 3 years of work experience. They are not happy with your knock. They are not happy with your work period. Your letter is not dated. Your details are not mentioned correctly. A lot of details are missing, and they cannot verify your reference letters. All these aspects will raise a question mark on your work period, and because it's a question mark on your work period, automatically now your eligibility for Expressentry system or federal skilled worker program is now under review required. And now until somebody else as a senior manager or a visa officer or a program manager now clears this, your application then is now under a big threat. So if you are aware of what it is that it is review required for, you can either proactively upload these documents. But you see, whenever you upload these documents proactively, it is their discretion. It becomes discretionary. It is CIC's discretion whether they will accept your documents or not. Because remember, R10, Immigration Refugee Protection Regulation, Section 10, it states very clearly that the onus of providing complete documents the way they should be is on you. So you basically are required to provide complete set of documents from the very beginning, from the get-go. And if you haven't provided these documents, then you are putting your application in jeopardy. So yes, you can proactively provide these documents using a web form, but whether they will be accepted or not is not something which you can control. It will be discretionary. Whoever this person who's making these very, very ridiculous comments, please go look elsewhere, because that's not the right thing to do. Himanshu, could you please advise the options available for candidates with low CRS score due to education and age criteria? Any open provinces? Himanshu, there is no magic trick or hidden magic wand or a hidden secret or a process how you can do this. Everything is pretty open. It's quite transparent. CIC website is quite transparent. There are more than 60 different immigration programs available. But it's your effort which will get you the results you're looking for. You need to figure out where your NOC code is in demand. Different provinces will have different kind of requirements, different criterias, but it'll be your effort, it'll be your hard work, which is sort of figure out where your profile matches. You are saving money, aren't you, by not going to a consultant? So, but this is where you need to work for it. This is, if you're saving money, then you need to really save it. You need to earn this money that you're saving. So you need to figure out which which province your NOC code is in demand, whether you are eligible under different criteria, whether you can look at Alberta, whether you can look at Ontario and be an Expressentry profile and expect any of these provinces to pick your profile. But this is, yes, as I said again, this is something which you need to figure out. But there is no hidden secrets, or there are no secrets, or there is no magic tricks to sort of get you a different understanding of how this is going to work. Farouk has a very, very long one, but let's very quickly go through it. I have received an ineligible letter from SINP a month back where they advised me to apply under a different NOC, and I have lodged a second review request for my JD. I have received the email the same day that my application under PIU. Can I submit expression of interest if the opportunity rises? Yes, you can submit the expression of interest if the opportunity rises. There is no timelines available for PIU. Again, PIU basically is a professional integrity unit, and nobody can tell you how long they will take to clear your application. But if your application is PIU, then obviously you cannot apply to Saskatchewan again until they sort of have cleared it. But definitely you can apply for any other province that might be open at that given period of time. And don't close your doors to any other provinces. And you have an issue with NOC 1122 and 2171, both opens up. Well, make sure your job reference letter matches either of the two NOCs, and then based on which one it matches better, go with that NOC and go with that particular occupation. Any expectation as to when rural and north immigration pilot program will open? No, there is no expectation yet. Yes, a lot of announcements have been made, but no clear indication of what the criteria is going to be and what the process and program is going to be hasn't been specified yet. So until that happens, we are as ignorant as you are. Is there any program of PIs, PNP without job offer? Yes, Prince Edward Island has a program connected with Expressentry, and that does not require a job offer. Again, there is no clarity how they pick their profile, but you can go on the PEI website and file your expression of interest. If you are lucky, they might pick your profile, and then you can proceed with them. Right, so this also means these questions are done. Right, let me come to the question that you guys have been talking about. Let me first get this guy out of this group. Right, now we will go through the questions that you have been posting. Okay. First one I'm going to take one is Punjabi rapper. Nice name. Okay. He says, I have applied from Dubai for Expressentry. Score is 353. Can I qualify? Yes, well, of course you can qualify. 353 is definitely not going to get you a direct ITA for sure. You will need to look at different provincial nominee programs, which might sort of, give you an option. But 353 CRS will not get you an IT for sure. Vishal says, my current employment letter has XYZ hospital. My employer's website has XYZ multi-speciality hospital. Would it be a problem? No, it won't be a problem. Ahmed says, can't hear you. Guys, can you hear me? Somebody says can't hear you. I mean, I just want to check if you guys can. Just show me a thumbs up if you can hear me, please. Anybody out there? Perfect. Yes, you can hear me. Thank you. What is the future? Mandeep Singh is saying, Shamir says, I posted my question in WhatsApp group. Shamir, I'm sorry, I'm not looking at questions in the WhatsApp group. It's very difficult to keep a tab on that because it's practically not possible. I'd also very clearly posted that you must put your questions only on the Facebook group because it's not possible to keep an eye on them. Right, Mandeep says, what is the future of Expressentry? Future of Expressentry. Okay, CRS is increasing with each round. What is my opinion? Will Canada limit Expressentry intakes within the next few years? I'm seeking PR after my Canadian education. Okay, Mandeep. All right. First of all, none of us can predict the future here. We all wanted to sort of be all nice, but future of Expressentry, I don't see Expressentry going anywhere. I mean, it's here for us to stay. A lot of people are thinking about elections and conservative government and liberal government and will the new government, if at all the new government comes in, will they sort of remove Expressentry, and they are so anti-immigration kind of a thing. First of all, Canada has been pro immigration for a very, 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 very long time. I think it's been more than 50, 60 years now that immigration has been quite, drastically increasing as far as Canada is concerned. So Expressentry is just an electronic management of applications, PR applications. That's what Expressentry is, just the electronic management of applications. Until 2015, it was paper applications. Paper applications would take 2 to 4 years time, and it was like a very cumbersome process. So they just made an easier, convenient way, which became Expressentry. Okay, Expressentry was designed, thought of in the period when conservatives were in power. It was the liberal government which came, and by that time Expressentry had already been designed, thought of, and so it was executed. So I do not foresee, or I do not see Expressentry going anywhere. It's a system which has constantly been changing. It's a system which has always been evolving. It has been a system which has always been progressing and bringing about good changes as far as the system is concerned. And it's becoming robust by the day. It's becoming better by the day. So I would hate to see it go if for whatever reason it goes. But if it goes, I'm sure it'll be replaced by something else. So if by Expressentry you mean the immigration is going to stop, no, it's not going to stop. It can't stop, because we are only 37 million people in Canada. Only 37 million people in a landmass which is the world's second largest country. Yeah, you know that, right? So yeah, it's here to stay. And you are saying you're already studying in Canada. Well, 170,000 students from India alone are studying in Canada this year. Okay, that's a lot of people among almost 500,000 students, international students in Canada. That is nearly 1/3 of the total number. So what are you worried about? I mean, there will always be a priority for people who have Canadian education, Canadian work experience. So you should be the last person who should be worried about what's going to happen with the immigration programs. Next one from Irshad. If I get PNP nomination in French stream from Toronto and meanwhile being in Canada under study permit, will it affect my nomination? No, absolutely not. Harish says, sir, my work experience acceptable if I work in my father's company as an employee. Harish, your work experience is absolutely acceptable even if you work in your father's company. It will definitely raise a flag. It will definitely be a concern because lately there has been lots and lots and lots of fraudulent documents that have been provided. That is one of the reasons why process times have gone up so much. As long as you're able to provide all the documents, in your case, you have to provide additional documents to establish your credibility and to establish the integrity of your work documents. But it should not be a problem as long as you sort of provide a good set of documents. Ankit says, I am a software engineer having more than 4 years of experience. What are the chances of software engineer in Nova Scotia? Ankit, I don't know. Please check Nova Scotia website and see what their requirements are, and I'm sure you will be able to find the answer there itself. Punjabi rapper again says, I've applied from Dubai. Can I qualify? I already answered yes, you can, my friend. Absolutely. 353 will not give you, but you will have to look for provincial nominee program options. Sao says, my CRS is less than 400. Can I expect Ontario PNP? I don't know, to be very honest, whether you can expect or not. Last time they have fixed ranges of CRS to which they issued notifications of interest. The lowest, I think it went to 433 last year. This year was 439 so far, which has been the lowest. I'm not sure if they will reach lower than 400, but you never know. They might sort of pick and choose certain NOCs, even if they're under 400, but not very promising, to be very honest. Parmana says, I have 3 years of experience in system analyst, etc., etc. Waiting for ICA's results. My points are 378. What do I suggest? Well, I cannot suggest anything as such. With 378, it's not going to be happening. You will have to look at PNP options or look at ways to improve your CRS score. Kabir says, I had a fight with my agent and I told him to withdraw the application. Can he harm me in any way? And he did not share the E number. I did not get an ITA. No, Kabir, he cannot harm you in any which ways. The best thing would be to go back on our Facebook group, check on how you can get control of your application, link your old application to yours, and make sure that the application has been withdrawn from your profile. You see, consultant has to be really spiteful for them to spend 550 Canadian dollars to actually file your application and try to mess you up. They might get angry, but nobody's looking to do go all the way through and file your application and put you into trouble by paying 550 Canadian dollars as well. But if you haven't received an ITA, you should be fine. Don't worry about it. Abhishek says, how was your Holi? Hope your health is all good. Abhishek, thank you so much. My Holi was pretty good. It was pretty awesome. Thankfully, your color is all gone. Though I look a bit red, don't I? And my health is all good. Yes, thank you so much. My health is perfectly fine. Thank you for asking. Jules Clip says, hi to Nick Gur. He's your biggest fan. Hi, Nick. I love you too, my friend. Nick Gore loves my videos. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Because you love my videos, that's the reason I make them, right? Thank you, Shezan. Thank you for your wishes. Madhu, how are you, Madhu? Just give me a moment. I am just gonna get rid of this. Yes. Madhu says, I married recently and I am using my name prior to my marriage on all the documents. However, since my name has changed after marriage, do I need to declare it and show the evidence? Yes, you will. There is a question on your application which says, have you used another name? And then you will say yes. You will give your new name and then it will say whether it is, what is the reason for the name change? And one of the options is for marriage. Please say yes. And then you can always either show your marriage certificate, which will show your previous and maiden name and married name, and that suffices, or you can provide one and the same person affidavit to show the change of name, and that should be it. Shreyas says, which PNP should I choose for NOC 2282? Shreyas, I wish I could tell you, but I do not remember all the NOC codes on top of my head. It's an individual thing. Please go to the different PNP websites and just a moment. Yes, please go to different PNP websites and check where your NOC is in demand. Check the criteria, and accordingly, you will be able to either file an expression of interest or file your application with them. Sheikh Abdullah says, I want to apply PNP, but after landing 1 year, wait for work as the same field. Okay, I'm absolutely not able to understand what you're saying, but if you want to apply for PNP, please check the Provincial Nominee Program website and you can get more information there. It says itself. Arya says, can I do an upfront medical? Yes, Arya, you can do an upfront medical anywhere in the world. It doesn't matter. Harsh says, do we have to mention flag polling entry in supplementary travel form? No, you don't have to, because you technically did not enter the United States. Parikshit says, my CRS score is 432. Which PNP is suitable? I wish I could tell you. Please check individual PNP websites. Punjabi rapper, you are not good, buddy. Sorry, guys. Okay. Next one is from sorry guys, just sort of trying to clear some questions here. Okay, my god, there are just give me a moment, guys. Just a lot of questions, just trying to figure out which ones I have to still go through. Right. Master says, I have CRS score of 323. Which PNP program? Okay, guys, all these questions which are asking me which PNP program, I can't tell you. Because, honestly speaking, I haven't seen your profile. I don't know your profile. And even that basically means I will have to check for you, which basically means you can check PNP program yourself. Individual PNP programs have individual requirements, individual criteria. They're all unique. They're all different from each other. No two PNP programs are same. Please go to individual PNP website, check their criteria, check their requirements, check what they need, check if they have a NOC in demand list. If they do, please, by all means, then follow the process. I will not take any questions which ask me about, because I've already said very clearly that I cannot go through this. Radhika says, I have received my PR. I am now getting married. I have read about the spouse immigration rules, but it may take 8 to 12 months. Is there a faster way? That is the faster way, Radhika. Sriji says, which all provinces select you directly from EE pool? Ontario, well, any province which is linked to Expressentry can pick your profile from the Expressentry pool. As of right now, Ontario and Alberta are doing it. Nova Scotia at times picks from the Expressentry pool. Prince Edward Islands actually is an expression of interest. They don't. So yes, as of right now, it's only Nova Scotia, Alberta, and Ontario. Yeah, 3 of them. Vijay Ganesh says, does NOC code impact too much? My profile is a mix and match of 0111 and 1111. Well, you have to, or rather, match your NOCs with a job roles and responsibilities, or if you have a list of job roles and responsibilities, match it with the NOC. Whichever one is a closest match is the one that you need to sort of choose. But do not go with 2. Always, please make sure you go with 1. Mohit, I cannot send you the procedure of PNP. It is available on the PNP website. Please check the PNP website. Diksha says, how can one find out which school is good or not? In other words, what all things we need to consider as a parent when selecting our destination in Canada? Okay, great question. When you say destination in Canada, that's like a very, very large country you're asking me. With most people, where they can find a employment opportunities is where what becomes their first choice in terms of the city that they want to reside in. With a lot of other people, there could be some other factors that will help them decide what kind of city do you like. Do you like a lot of chaos? Do you like a lot of urban nature of the city, or do you want to sort of be more laid back, relaxed? Do you want the sea by the side? Do you want the lake by the side? Are you okay with the weather? Are you okay with the temperatures? Do you have relatives? Do you have friends? Are you particular about certain communities? Are you particular about certain nationalities? Are you particular about certain communities? These all will collectively help you decide which city you would like to move in Canada, or which province you would want to move in Canada. uh, Once you do identify which city, then you can check a lot of online reviews for the schools, because most of the areas, the schools are based on the residence that you live in. You cannot choose a public school. Your child will have to go in the school that is within the residence area that you live in. So yes, do an online research, check the reviews of different schools. Once you identify the school, then you can find the area that you want to live in. Yeah. Uh, Harinder Pal says, what should I do if my present employer refused to give me experience and job duties letter? Oh, wow. Excuse me, sorry. Harinder, there is another video on the same channel that I have done, which is very detailed and tells you what you can do if your employer refuses to give you a letter. But to give you in a very short way, in a very short quick reply for that is go to your boss, go to your manager, go to your supervisor, go to any colleague who you've been reporting to, who you've reported to in the past, and have them make this letter for you. Notarize this letter. Make sure this letter includes all the details that CIC would want you to do, would want you to include. Provide additional documents like your job reference, job offer letter, any promotion letters, pay stubs, salary slips, ID card copies, your training certificates, your promotion letters, your letters of any achievement. All these documents collectively become your work experience documents. What you guys need to understand is that what is mentioned on the CIC website, what is mentioned as the requirement of documents on the CIC website is the minimal. I mean, that is the bare minimum that you definitely need in your application. But don't limit yourself to that, because you're trying to make a credible application package. You're trying to basically have your application run through smoothly, fast, quickly, without any hang-ups, without any RRs, without any review required. So try and give as many documents as possible which will prove credibly what your employment is all about. Okay, that will always help your application. But yes, Harinder, please, the same channel, if you can just scroll down, you'll find a video on what if your employer refuses to give you a reference letter. Just go through that. It will give you a lot of details on what you can do to get a reference letter. Ashish says, due to delay in home loan EMI, bank has put a case on us. If we have cleared almost all dues, just for information, will it affect our file? No, it won't affect your file. In such cases, these are all civil matters. These are not criminal matters. So you will still have a proper police clearance certificate, and it should not be an issue. Shaharia says, any idea how many NOI have issued to Francophone recently from Nova Scotia? Shaharia, I'm not sure about the numbers. I didn't really pay attention to the numbers, but I think 200 or 300 NO notifications of interest were issued by Nova Scotia for Francophone. But if you can just check Nova Scotia website, it'll give you the information. Jatin says, where can I get information on working for US company and remotely working for it from Canada? I have no idea what exactly you're asking about, Jatin. No, I'm sorry, I couldn't understand that question at all. Angelina says, do we have to answer questions related to criminality and visa refusals in Form A considering family as parents and siblings? Not sure what you are asking, Angelina. But in your Schedule A, you will need to answer statutory questions for yourself, or if you're filling or completing the form for your spouse, then on behalf of your spouse. For your parents and siblings, you are not answering any statutory questions. Nadeem says, does it make sense to apply in Quebec skilled worker program in current scenario? No, it doesn't make any sense. It's a total waste of time. If there are any consultants out there who are trying to sort of sell you Quebec worker program, please don't fall into that trap. It's a total waste of time as of right now. The whole process is on hold. There are 18,000 pending applications. The immigration minister of Quebec has made it very, very clear that the priority will be for people who speak French or the francophones. It is going to be a very difficult one to get through to get into. Don't waste your time. If you can actually spend that time in trying to improve your skills or in trying to improve your profile and trying to get it, rather get into Expressentry or any other PNP program. Anik says, I got an LAA in MPNP. Now my connection hesitate to support me as 2 files are already in process. What shall I do? Well, Anik, I wish I could tell you what you can do. Well, you have to figure out a way to get your connection to support you, because without that, your application will not go through. Okay, what else have we got here? Again, another question says, how much percent should my letter match with NOC and our job responsibilities? Parminder, the law says substantial number of duties should match. Now, substantial number of duties is a very, very subjective statement, but try and match as many as possible. Anything over 60 to 70% is good. Salim Khan, Assalamu alaikum. Walaikum assalam. Salim, hi Akhil, how are you? Venkat Rao says, is company secretary training be considered as experience for Canada? Company secretary training as such cannot be considered as work experience, but if you are working as an intern, then a paid internship can be considered as work experience, provided you have all the documentation and you have a valid knock to prove that. Amjad says, hope you're doing good. Thank you so much. When will PNP open for electronic engineers? I wish I knew, but I don't know. Milan says, is it necessary to show experience if you don't want to claim CRS points? No, you don't have to show experience in the work history, but you must mention it under the personal history, which will appear in your application post your ITA. Anything that you have done in the last 10 years, you must mention in your personal history, regardless of whether you're claiming points for it or not. Next one is Luz Tijada says, do applications where the main applicant is pregnant gets delayed until the birth of the child even though x-rays were performed? No. If your application is complete, then it will be processed. An application is complete if your medical is complete. Okay. Nitesh says, any chance for 429? As of right now, it looks very unlikely. Kevalish says, my parents are deceased and I have their death certificate, but I don't have their birth certificate except birth year. Please suggest how to proceed with their declaration. Kevalish, you do not need these documentation for your parents. As such, you will just need to mention their date of birth and date of their death in your application in the family information form. Okay, Sandeep says, okay. Thank you, Sandeep. Thank you. Yeah, just make sure you remember me for your marriage, buddy. Paramdeep says, where were you picking up questions for? Paramdeep, I was picking up questions from my Facebook post, which was posted earlier. Shabir says, I want to get study visa because I heard that it is a better approach to get PR. Can you suggest which university I should choose? Shabir, I do not know which university you can choose, buddy. There are so many colleges, so many universities in Canada. Please do your research. Please figure out what makes more sense to you, which province you want to study in, which college, which university you want to study in, which program you want to study in. It's absolutely your choice. Okay, Sanchit says, which is the faster way to add spouse in the profile, after AOR or before getting PPR? It doesn't matter. Okay, if you get married after AOR, you are obligated. You have to inform CIC that your family circumstances or the status of your family has changed, and your family composition has changed, and accordingly, then they will add your spouse into the application. So it's not your option when you will inform them, but whenever you do get married, whether it's after AOR, after PPR, it doesn't matter. And don't worry about the timelines as such. It doesn't make a difference, but just make sure if you get married after AOR or after PPR, whenever you do, please inform CIC. Salim says, I've submitted my documents, but the company is not existing anymore. Will it have an impact? Well, depending on how much they want to verify your documentation, and if it is not existing anymore, then are they able to contact somebody? Are they able to verify your documentation? It may or may not impact your application. But if they are not able to verify your documentation, then yes, it will impact in the sense like it will get delayed, it will go for review required, and they will need you to provide additional documents. Okay, Manpreet says, I have experience in 2 NOC codes, but I have specified 4.5 years of experience, which comes under one. How can I apply for jobs under different? Manpreet, your NOC under PR application has nothing to do with your job search. You're free to search your jobs under any NOC, under any business, under any industry. It has no relation to your PR application. Pawan Guru says, does ordering GCMS notes multiple times impact our application? No, it does not, because it is handled by a different department altogether. But why would you want to do that? Just wait it out. If you want to order your GCMS notes, apply in the 4th month, not before that, because as of today, current timelines are running anywhere between 5 to 8 months, and it won't really give you a lot of information. Anytime after the 4th month is good enough. And from there on, if you want, maybe after 1 month or so. Ranjit says, my COPR has mentions Toronto as port of entry, but I am an Expressentry candidate. Can I land in BC? Yes, you can. Absolutely no problem. Amartya says, is work permit essential under AIPP? Work permit is not essential, but a job offer from a designated employer in the Atlantic province is a requirement, is a basic criteria for AIPP. Okay. Hardik says, when will the new NOC codes open in SINP? I wish I knew, but I don't know. Maybe they will change something very soon. Jayan says, what is R10? I did explain what is R10 a bit earlier. Please, Jayan, if you could just sort of, later on go through this whole video again. I did discuss R10 in detail, and it will give you an understanding of what it is. Okay. Vijay says, I stayed in US during 2015-2016 for a period of 3 months into 3 times, like total 9 months, but in 3 equal durations. Do I need to get PCC? No, you don't need to. You need PCC only if you resided in any country for 6 months or more in a row. Okay, there's still a few questions here. Okay. Jasbir says, I missed adding my L1B rejection in PR application. Should I let CIC know? Yes, please, by all means, do let them know. Harmeet says, I have got an ITA from PEI. Excellent. Congratulations. I have taken PL in December. And my consultant is saying there is no need to show this in my liabilities section. What can I tell you? I mean, do the right thing. I mean, that's the only way to do it. I hope you haven't taken the personal loan for your proof of funds, because if you have, then it is going to affect your application negatively. Omkar says, based on reading posts from people on the group, certain nationalities get PPR sooner than the other ones. Is it correct or only a speculation? Omkar, it's not a speculation. It's absolutely rubbish. There is no such thing of certain nationalities getting PPR sooner than the other. Well, what will happen is, certain applications definitely get processed very fast. But if you start paying attention to certain nationalities getting processed faster, then you will have to also start putting into perspective how many applications are processed from that particular nationality, and then start talking about percentages and the process timing. But apart from that, do not confuse yourself with these things. As of right now, Asians are applying in large numbers. There will be some certain percentage of these large numbers which will get processed very fast, and there'll be a certain percentage which will get processed very, very late. But that does not mean one nationality has a priority over another. Okay. Satinder says, my name on educational document is different from passport. Yes, you can reply this as yes, and then provide a one and the same person affidavit. Ginny says, do the NOC have any impact on the processing time? Absolutely not. Sriram says, I have 8 months of software testing and in one company and 4 months of software in another. Can it well, if there is no gap in your work experience, if your NOC is same, then you can claim that as one single period of work experience. Yes. Prashant Agarwal says, can I have your WhatsApp number? No, you can't. You're most welcome to drop me an email if there is something that is for commercial reasons. I do not answer queries on email either, but you're most welcome to post your questions on our Facebook groups, which is www.facebook.com/groups/askkuber. More than welcome to sort of post your queries there. Lots of our group members are awesome team of moderators, are very forthcoming, always there to sort of help you out with your queries. I'm gonna just take few more questions because honestly speaking, oh my god, a lot of questions still here. Okay, very quickly gonna finish these. Okay, play for danger says 60% NOC match, 60% of duties match NOC, or should my duties match 60% of those on NOC? Well, there are a lot of duties listed under an NOC. Your reference letter should match at least 60% of those duties, at least. Okay. Jatin says, how can I find information on working for US firm remotely from Canada? I would say you can discuss with a tax consultant if you're worrying about taxations and legalities. But as a rule of thumb, once you become a permanent resident, your income, your global income, is subject to taxation. But then there are some countries where there's a dual dual taxation policies in place. But the best people to answer those taxation questions would be qualified tax consultants. Please refer to one, and they will be happy to give you some help with that. Okay, Gautam says, we got a medical furtherance. It has been 3 months post AOR. Today our medical panel sent all requested results to IRCC. My question is, will IRCC take another 6 months to make a decision? Gautam, the average processing time that CSC takes is 6 months. However, there is no way to say how much time they will take on your application. I hope it gets processed within 6 months. But currently, applications on an average are taking anywhere between 5 to 8 months. So you're probably going to be falling anywhere between that period of time. I hope it gets through quickly. Okay, what else have we got here? Still quite a few to go. Anil says, is visitor visa refusal impact application? No, it won't impact your application. Harpreet Singh, I do not know when 4214 will open in Nova Scotia. I hope it opens fast. No way to say when they will open. Okay, what else have we got? Plenty of more to go. Amiss is asking, is there any demands job list for rural and northern immigration pilot program? No, there is no details available as such. Once it is available, trust me, we will share a lot of those details once we get them. Rajesh says, is kids passport compulsory for Nova Scotia submission? Well, if your children are part of your application, then you will definitely need their passport. If you don't have it, then you can submit your application with the birth certificates, and you can inform Nova Scotia that your passport is in process. Nova Scotia will give you time, but you will need your passports done. You can apply for passports in Tatkal, and you should get passports pretty quick. So that should not be a problem. Okay, I am just going to take 2 or 3 more questions, then we're going to finish this off. Anil, there are no details available about the new rural program yet. Once they are available, we will be talking about it. If there is a gap in income for a couple of months in self-employed case, will it impact 3 years experience? Yes, of course, Karthik. I mean, you should be able to prove that you have, being paid over a period of time. If there are a couple of months where you haven't got paid, but it doesn't really show as specifically related to that, that should be fine. But your period of work experience should be complete for 3 years of work, for 3 years period for you to claim that period of work experience. Right, guys, this should be it. If you still have questions, if I haven't been able to answer your questions, you're more than welcome to come on our Facebook group, www.facebook.com/groups/askkuber. It's already been an hour and a half. I've got a bad throat now. Stay safe, okay? Make sure you check your applications again and again and again before you file them. A lot of you will not get a second chance. If you already got it, please, please, please review, research, review, check again, and only then file your applications. I love you all. Good night, namaskar, adab, sat sri akal, and see you again. Bye-bye.